Hello, superheroes and supervillains. It's your friend Sean PVS 101. Welcome back to another video on my YouTube channel. Here is part 2 for my sketchbook collection. I'm going to show you in the next video because last time I already uploaded part 1 for my sketchbook tour. For now, here is part 2 for my sketchbook tour and enjoy the video. Alright, we got sketchbook number 10. This is my 10th sketchbook I completed. Alright, here we go. Start off with sketchbook number 10. Here it's some more. Alright, sketchbook number 9. This is my 9th sketchbook I completed during the year 2024. Here we go, 9th sketchbook. Here we go. Here is some pencil doodles of some random drawings of me. Good to see you all. Oh! Pencil doodles of Tractor. Here's Tractor. Here's Farrah the Fox. And here is Tractor's Terrific Trends. Here is Tractor's Terrific Trio Friends featuring Tractor, Farrah, and Big Boy Gabe. I love them. Here is Tractor hanging out with Farrah the Fox and Gabe at the sunny beach. Here is Gabe riding the skateboard. Tractor riding the skateboard. Same thing with Farrah and poor Gabe. Gabe is suddenly, they crashed. And Tractor is shocked because Gabe the Gator and Farrah got hurt each other. Lol. Here's more Gabe the Gator and Tractor and Farrah. Here's Tractor the brown dog, Farrah the red fox, and Gabe the big gator. It's my little Looney Tunes style pose. And here's Farrah the fox is telling Tractor go to the dance party. Here's Farrah the fox and Tractor having a fun time at the dance. Aww, Gabe is giving a big hug towards Farrah. Ooh, here's a little doodle of Tractor, Farrah, and Gabe are going somewhere, I guess. I'm not sure. I think going on some quests, I guess. More Inkling Sean from Splatoon 3. Here's Inkling Sean holding Rusty. Here's Inkling Sean give Rusty the pizza. More Inkling Sean. Aw, poor jellyfish, holding the balloons like an up. Holding the ice cream. He's interacting with the jellyfish. So he's holding the splatter shot from the game Splatoon 3. More Inkling drawings. Aw, he's taking a little nap while being king. Rusty! More Rusty doodles. I love the small fry character. That's Inkling Sean holding the roller. He's looking at his phone full of crowds of jellyfish. He's doing a little booyah. Aw, he's doing a little Sonic pose. And that's it for sketchbook number 9. This is my 9th sketchbook I completed. Alright, sketchbook number 10. This is my 10th sketchbook I created. Let's go! Alright, here's some doodles. Here's my sketch. Boom! Here's my sketchbook number 10. This is my 10th sketchbook I created. Alright, here we go. Let's start with sketchbook number 10. This is my little sticker of Shawnee Big Boy. Here's some doodles of me that's me as Sean. This is me, by the way. Here's a little emotion emotes of me. Here's me happy, sad, angry, a little disappointed, disgusted, afraid, a little nervous and shy, and feeling ooh. Here's my little emotion me's. Here's more avatar of me. Here's a little Scott Pilgrim pose. Here's me punching the question mark from Super Mario franchise. That was an awesome reference, by the way. Here is a little me. It says, "It's time to draw." More Tractor. I love Tractor so much because I freaking love Tractor so much. Come here, Tractor. Here is my little childhood stuffed animal. I'm gonna put him right here in this video. Look at him. He's so adorable. That's me right here. I'm the star. Yes, you are, Tractor. I'm gonna put you right here in the sketchbook. Alright, here's some more doodles of Tractor. I freaking love him. More Farrah the Fox. Here's Tractor's favorite fox friend named Farrah. Farrah's such a likable girl. Oh, here's Farrah the Fox. Give her a thumbs up. Here's her running, and here's her waving. And here's Farrah the Fox is being friendly to Tractor. And here's Farrah is hanging out with Gabe the Gator because he ate something, probably her lunch. Here's more Gabe the Gator doodles. Here's him waving. Here's him drinking a little Slurpee. Here's him eating a lot of noodles. And here's his little big burp because he's one big gluttony gator. Here's more Farrah the Fox and Gator hanging out. Here's him taking a selfie with her. Here's Farrah the Fox is hearing a weird noise. That's probably Gabe's the Gator's stomach. Here's more Tractor doodles. Here's Tractor and Farrah hanging out. And here's Gabe the Gator ate one big hot dog because he's one big fat gator. Not gonna lie. And here's Farrah the Fox is done with her exercise during the hot summer. Here is the 3 yang of the group I created because I'm developing my own indie cartoon I'm creating. Here's more Farrah, Tractor, and Gabe, and here's them dancing on the floor. Here's them watching a funny video, and here's Gabe the Gator is reading a book, and here's his little bench is bending down, and here is Lynx. Here's his little Lynx is being a rude character. Here's some random background characters of anthropomorphic animals in this universe. I am such a phenomenal cartoonist, and poor Gabe. Aww, he's so nice. Ooh, more Inkling Sean. I love Inkling Sean from the Splatoon universe. Ooh, oh my gosh. It's Batman as Batman. And here's Hammerhead from the Great Piggy Bank Robbery from Looney Tunes. Here's Pussycat, and here's Pumpkin Man, and here's the Wolfman being rude to Robert. Actually, that's Teenage Robert, because that's my own version of Gru. and here's Inkling Sean, give him an idea. More Inkling Sean. Aw, he's sleepwalking. That's Ferris is trying to wake him up. More Inkling Sean and Ferris. And more little Splatoon jellyfish doodles. Oh, here's Poppy Prescott from Despicable Me 4. Sweet. Here's Poppy Prescott from Despicable Me 4. Here's my first fan art of Poppy, and here's Poppy is hanging out with Jen from Kung Fu Panda 4. Both of these movies came out the same year in 2024. More Aaron the Octoling. I love Aaron the Octoling because of here's Aaron the Octoling holding his order splatter shot, and here's Silence Ramsbottom from the Anti-Villain League to join the AVL. Here's some AVL agents from the Despicable Me sequels I created in the sketchbook. Ooh, Rusty the Small Fry meeting Pearl Drone. Aw, I love Pearl Drones. And that is it for sketchbook number 10. This is my 10th sketchbook I created. Woo! Sketchbook number 11. This is my 11th sketchbook I finished in 2024. And here we go. More Inkling Sean doodles. Here's Inkling Sean holding the ice cream. Here's Inkling Sean and Rusty are dancing. More Inkling Sean. Stay fresh. Here's me holding this pencil. It's time to draw with the pencil. And look, here's a drawing of me holding this little AI robot flush it down the toilet because of it says say no to AI art and flush it away. Say no to AI art because real artists are superior than AI art. Who's with me? We got here's some more drawings of me. Tractor! More drawings of Tractor. I love him so much. He is such a cutie. Aw, he's such a lovable goofball. Best of friends. Here's more Rusty and Inkling Sean. Rusty! Aw, he's so cute. Look! Rusty! I love Rusty the small fry from Splatoon 3. Gonna put him right here next to Tractor because of, look at it. Look at it, people. It's Rusty the small fry hanging out with Tractor. Aw, they look so adorable. Anyways, let's keep continued on. What we got over here? Aw, Rusty the small fry won a pie eating contest. Cool fry. Aw, love him. Here's Inkling Sean is supporting me for my cartooning skill. Here's me, give me an idea. And this is Mr. Idea. Bob the Minion! Hanging out with Chili Willy! Aw, how adorable. That's Inkling Sean hanging out with Jellyfish. More Jellyfish. More of my own version of Gru named Robert, aka the Blonde Terror. Young Robert. More Blonde Terror. And this is my own version of Pumpkin Man and Wolf Man from the Looney Tunes The Great Piggy Bank, but this is my own version set in the late 70s and early 1980s when Robert was a teenager in the supervillain high school. They used to be friends. Here's more Inkling Sean is hiding from Ouroboros. Him holding the eggs during Salmon Run. Here's the best part. Here is Inkling Sean is using the 52 gal, taking those salmonids down. Big Run sometimes is a big problem. It is sometimes. Here's Inkling Sean, finally at last getting his first golden medal. Creeper! Aw, man. Darn it! I said it at first. Why had to draw this? Oh well, here's me holding a diamond sword. Here's the enchanted one. Here's my Minecraft treehouse I created, my 2-story treehouse. More Tractor. Tractor is so adorable. Farrah the Fox, love her. Here's more Farrah. Farrah. Goofy Farrah. Gabe. Aw, Gabe the Gator is so adorable. Touchdown! That's how I won the football. Love him. Here's Tractor for president in 2024. Let's make America terrific. Then great. Here's Tractor running for president. Lovable boy. More Gator. More Gabe. Aw, here's Gabe the Gator and Farrah the Fox are hanging out at the gym while he's losing all weight. More Farrah and Gabe. Aw, he's one hungry boy. Aw, he's trying his best trying to fit his belt because he gained a lot of weight because he ate too much. Aw, he is such. Aw, that's so nice. I draw. Aw, more Gabe and Tractor. Alright, we got some more Tractor. Ooh, what is that? Aw, it's just a sad little cloud. Who cares? Aw, Tractor. Wahoo! Touchdown. Aw. And that is it for sketchbook number 11. That was a pretty great sketchbook I created. Alright, sketchbook number 12. This is my 12th sketchbook I created because look at this. This is my sketchbook I created. This is my 12th sketchbook. That was a pretty awesome one. Here we go. Here's my first cover. Ooh, here is more ink drawings of Sean the Inkling Boy. Here is Ferris. Here Sean is being more friendly to Ferris because That's Ferris the Inkling Boy, reference to my own inspired by Spears from the Splatoon manga series, because Inkling Sean is Goggles and Ferris is Spears. That give me vibes of. Here is more Ferris, Sean and Ferris. Here is more Splatoon doodles of Inkling Sean. Here's him holding the splat bomb because of he's doing a little cool trick on his fingers. Here is another one of Sean, Inkling Sean is get ready to work for a salmon run, and here's Ferris is joining with Sean in salmon run. And here is another one of Inkling Sean doing the Splatoon goggles pose from the manga series. I just took a reference on. Here is Inkling Sean is feeding Rusty the small fry to a sandwich, and here's Inkling Sean is giving the sandwich to Rusty. How adorable. Iron Giant! Oh my god, I freaking love the Iron Giant. Here's the Iron Giant drawing I made while I watched that movie. And here's Dean from the Iron Giant is doing the iconic "In your mouth is art." That line never gets old. Whoa. Superman! Oh my god, it's the Iron Giant dressed up as Superman. Oh my god, Superman would have been proud at the Iron Giant. Peacemaker! Oh, here's Peacemaker. Here's Peacemaker. Here's Hardcore. Here's Labita. And here's more Clemson. And here is John from the Peacemaker show. Really awesome. Here's some more random drawings of me. More Inkling Sean. I love Inkling Sean. More Inkling Sean. I just love Splatoons. Tractor! More Tractor doodles. Yes, I love Tractor. Tractor. Farrah the Fox and Gabe. I love these two. More Farrah the Fox doodles on the sketchbook. I just love her so much. Farrah the Fox is such a likable character I created in the sketchbook. Same thing with my boy Gabe. And fortunately, that's end for sketchbook number 12. Sketchbook number 13. Here's my sketchbook number 13 I just finished. Probably in 2024 through 2025. Here's my sketchbook number 13 I finished. Here we go. Here is more doodles of me. And here's some more doodles of me. Here's some random doodles. Here's some random cartoons, random cartooning I created. Here's this little poor little worm and this poor little snowman. Aw, poor little cloud. Here's some little cats try to eat the trash. And aw, poor aliens. Because the aliens are trying to invade Earth, but then the people are looking down on their phones because of modern society, and that's me trying to cheer up those aliens. More drawings of me. I'm such a phenomenal cartoonist. I love cartooning. Here's some more drawings. Here's my phone and my Nintendo Switch. Here's me taking a sip on a Coke. Superman! Yes, more Superman drawings. Let's go. Superman. Here's Superman holding this meteor rock, trying to protect Earth. Here's him as Clark Kent. Lois Lane. Here's some doodles of Lois Lane and Clark. Jimmy Olsen. I love Jimmy Olsen. Lex Luthor. Here's the Daily Planet, and here's the little mascot of the place called Mr. Planet because of taking inspiration from Mitch Minutes from the Loki show. Here is Clark Kent being late all the time at work. Here is Mr. Perry White. Here's Superman is saving a bus Superman is saving a bus full of special ed kids on the bus because Superman will always save people in Metropolis. And here's a drawing of Merry Christmas in 2024. Here is me Here's my doodles, and oh my god, here's this little drawing of this little cute bird on the bush in Columbus, Georgia, I created in the sketchbook. Here's this little bird on the bush. Young Gru! Yes! My Young Gru doodles! Let's go! More Young Gru doodles, and here's him holding the freeze ray while he's stealing the crown of England. More Young Gru doodles. Here's Young Gru. And Young Gru is hanging out with Young Stolas from Hell of a Boss. And I just like to draw more Stolas and Young Gru together. Here's more Young Gru and Stolas from Hell of a Boss. How adorable is that? Here is Adult Gru is hanging out with Adult Stolas from the show Hell of a Boss. I just love to draw more Gru and Stolas. That would have been really awesome. Because at least Gru being more friends with Stolas, because at least Stolas has a better friend than Blitzo. Lol. More Gru doodles. Here's Gru is holding this little gun from the movie Despicable Me 4. Here is Gru is part of the anti-villain league. Here's a drawing of Gru. It's arresting Stryker because of Stryker is the most anti-villain league's most wanted villain yet. Because Gru is one great agent from the anti-villain league. Because here Stryker is getting arrested by Gru from the whole AVL. Lol. Ooh, here's my little drawing of Dave as a Mega Minion. Here is Gru. Here's some little doodles of Gru Jr. Because of Gru Jr. reminds me of Jack from The Incredibles. Here is a little doodle of Gru Jr. as a little cockroach formed by Maxime Lamal. And here's another one of little Gru Jr. dressed up as little angels from the show Has Been Hotel. Here's little Gru Jr. holding the freeze ray gun, and that's Groot yelling, "Junior, don't touch it!" Hilarious. Here is more Gru doodles. Here's both adult form and young form. Here's me. Here's my avatar me. And more doodles of me. And that is it for sketchbook number... Don't forget what this number is. Oh yeah, 13. That is it for sketchbook number 13. Almost forgot that number. Here's sketchbook number 14. Let's go. Here's sketchbook number 14. Here is a little drawing of me and Inkling Sean are waving to the first page of my sketchbook number 14. Here is me holding a pencil. It says, "It's time to draw." Here's more doodles of me, my own avatar form. Me and Tractor are high-five at each other. More doodles of Tractor. Tractor being such a lovable boy. Here's a drawing of Tractor is give a little high five to this anthropomorphic frog character because my own show Tractor, Farah, and Gabe set in this world full of lovable and friendly anthropomorphic animals. Here's Tractor riding on his cool skateboard on top of the air. Tractor is give him his good luck playing basketball, and here's Tractor being a lovable character, and this is probably Lily the mean Lynx cat because this is probably Tractor's mean old bully from the show I'm creating. And here's Lily the mean old Lynx being a jerk to Tractor. More Pharaoh the Fox. Let's go. More Gabe. Sean is the most spectacular cartoonist ever. Yep, that's how I describe me in a nutshell. I am the most spectacular cartoonist ever. Ooh, more blonde terror doodles of Robert and Ren. Here is them stealing some money and crown. Here is me meeting his twin brother Ren because they look like each other. Took inspiration from Despicable Me 3. Here's their spy suits. I took inspiration from Despicable Me 3. Here is them without the mask. Here's Robert holding his freeze blaster. That's him flying away from the bank using his wingsuit. Here is Ren gets excited to see stole lots of candy during his highs, and his father is sometimes disappointing. Here's their normal outfits if they're not in villainy mode. Here is Ren and Robert are win the most evilish villains of the Ward season. More doodles of young Robert. Here's Robert. Here's my own version of young Gru. This is young Robert, and here that's him stolen the crown of Jewel, just like young Gru did in the first Minions. Poor Robert. He has no love in Valentine's Day. Here's young Robert is watching TV because he's watching on television featuring the Villainous Six, because this is the channel. This part of the TV is a group of super old 70s supervillain that changed his life to become one of the coolest supervillains of all time. Here's more doodles of young Robert. Here's the top. He says, "What do you grow up?" "I want to be a supervillain." In the bottom, he says, "Cheese Ray!" Well, inspired from the Rise of Gru. Here's Robert riding on his rocket roller skaters. Here's him riding on his jet bike. "What did you drive?" "I got a jet bike." Oh, here's this one. It's Robert riding on his flying motorcycle plane. Kind of like young Gru did at the end of Minions 1 when he tried to ride on his motorcycle plane. That was an awesome doodle I made. Here's little Robert is hanging out with some supervillain pub at the bar. Here's his random villain. Here's his little biker villain character. Here's his waitress is like offering more drinks to him. Here's Robert playing little gamble thing with this supervillain. Here's this evil cactus. Here's more supervillains that Robert hang out with, like this anthropomorphic bull character. And also here's Robert ride away on his motorcycle bike. And that is it for sketchbook number 14. Yes, that is it for sketchbook number 14. My apologies, people. Alright, sketchbook number 15. Here we go. This is my sketchbook number 15. I just finished in 2025. Here we go. Here's some random drawings of me. Here's some doodles of me. Here's me eating this little donut. Here's me sweeping on the floor. Here's some doodles of me doing my... move out of the way, Rusty. Anyways, here's some doodles of me doing my usual jobs at work. And here's some cool doodles of me writing on this cool little pencil. It says, "Let's get drawing." Terrific Tractor. I love Tractor. Here's some doodles of him. Here's some doodles of Tractor hanging out with his favorite friends all the time. Farrah the Fox. Love Farrah so much. Here's Farrah the Fox is in the woods. Here's Farrah the Fox is hanging out in the park. We see this little anthropomorphic cartoon tree is giving Farrah the Fox an apple because that tree reminds me of Whipsy Woods from Kirby. And this little worm is yelling at Farrah, says, "Hey, don't eat my home!" And she says, "Oh my gosh, I'm sorry." And here's more drawings of Gabe the Gator. I love my boy Gabe the Gator. And here's a little doodle of Gabe the Gator is eating this little donut, and then suddenly, wow! So he got tripped. And then he got hurt. Aw, poor Gabe the Gator. Oh, yes! Well, Gromit! It's Gromit from Wallace and Gromit hanging out with Tractor. Oh my gosh, that is an awesome doodle. And here's Wallace is hanging out with Sean. Oh my gosh, that's an awesome drawing. And more Tractor and Wallace. That awesome doodle. I love it. More Tractor and Wallace drawing together. They're holding ice cream. Ooh! Normbots! Here's my drawing of the Normbot from Wallace and Gromit from Vengeance Most Foul. Here is the Normbot hanging out with that mean old gnome character from Romeo and Juliet. More Gnomebot. Feathers McGraw! Yes! I love Feathers McGraw. Here's another Feathers McGraw drawing, and here's another one. Him as a nun tried to shoot the gun at the priest character from Curse of the Rare Rabbit. Oh, poor Lady Tonnington. Oh no, he got Lady Tonnington hostage. Here's him holding the blue diamond. Here comes Wallace. Here comes Gromit to save the day. And he's in prison. More drawings of Sean the Inkling Boy. Here's more drawings of Sean the Inkling Boy. Here's some more doodles. Here's his squid form. Here's more Rusty the Doodle. Here's another drawings of doodles of Rusty the Small Fry. Here's Inkling Sean using his splatter shot, and here's him throwing Splat Bomb during Turf War. Here's Inkling Sean using his Trizuka from the game Splatoon 3. I played a lot from a few years. Happy New Year in 2025. More jellyfish doodles. More jellyfish doodles. Here's Little Judd and Judd. Here's Agent 3. Here's Neo Agent 3. More Agent 3 doodles in Splatoon 3 Return of the Mammalians. Here's this poor Octarian got attacked by Rusty the Small Fry. Agent 3! Here's Captain 3 and Cuttlefish. Oh, Mr. Grizz. It's huge Rusty. And here's Rusty fighting off Mr. Grizz during the final boss of Splatoon 3. Aw, he's dead. Way to go, buddy. Yes! Robert the Blonde Terror. More drawings of him. Here's Robert being all despicable-ish like Gru. Here's him holding the freeze gun. Here's Ren. His son, his evil supervillain son, and the twin of my avatar character. And that's me. That's my avatar character meeting his twin, because this gives me Despicable Me 3 vibes. Here is Robert and Ren in their super suits that tried to steal the golden dolphin from the bad guys. And it says, "The Blonde Terror, the world's despicable villain ever." That's Robert in his taser suit. Ooh, here is Robert in their sticky moat trying to sneak in from the guards trying to steal the ruby. Here's Robert on his rocket roller skate trying to get away from the cops. Here is Robert on his flight suit and fly away. Here's Robert is feeling disappointed at his little supervillain son that stole candy instead of money. What else? That's Robert on his cool villainy car from Despicable Me 3. Because I took inspiration from Despicable Me 3 because I kind of like Drew's car from that movie. Here's Robert parking the car with his car keys and more young Robert doodle. Aw, poor young Robert. He has no love. Aw, here's him being more evil. Here's him riding on his jet bike. And here's his jet bike. Here's Robert holding this fart bomb when we go to a movie theaters like Jaws or Rocky. Here's little Robert holding his cheese ray. Here's Robert yelling "Cheese Ray" at the customers while getting ice cream at the ice cream shop. Ooh, look at this. Look at this one. Here's the drawing of young Robert hanging out with Raleigh, Moto, and Bister from Desert Mayhem Overdrive, because I watched that indie animated short film on YouTube called Desert Mayhem Overdrive because I draw these three main villain characters from that short film: Raleigh, Moto, and Bister from the animated short film Desert Mayhem Overdrive. And here's Raleigh, Moto, and Bister are feeling confused seeing this like young human character who wants to become a supervillain like them, and then suddenly he took their treasure and loot away from them, and then suddenly they've been switched bags because Moto is shocked and horrified because of the marbles. The bags are full of marbles. And then they saw young Robert fly away on his motorcycle plane and get away from them, and they are not happy. And then Moto is yelling, Robert! And Robert is flying away on his motorcycle plane and singing the song from the Rolling Stone, Jumping Jack Flash. And then Moto is feeling depressed, and then Raleigh is trying to cheer him up. And Robert is the best supervillain of all time. And that is it for sketchbook number 15. That is a pretty amazing one I did in the year 2025. I love this sketchbook. It's a great one. Here's sketchbook number 16. This one I finished in 2025. Here we go. Here's some usual drawings of me in this new sketchbook. All right, let me just turn the page. Here's some doodles of Inkling Sean, Tractor, and Young Robert, and the adult version, and Ren. Here is me. Give him a thumbs up. And here is a drawing of me. I was working out at the gym at my local gym, Planet Fitness. And here is me holding the pen that says, time to draw. Oh my goodness. More Batman as Batman, lol. Oh my goodness. Here's a minion being jocked, and here's Gru as Groomba, and Dr. Duberschmertz as Maxime Lamal. And here's more Gru as Groomba, here's Droomba, Balbazar Brat, but in South Park mode. Here's Mike the Mouse from Sing, but in Family Guy mode. Stewie Griffin, and Mr. Frog, Mr. Piccolo. Here's a drawing of Mr. Piccolo from Batman the Animated Series is throwing Man of Steel and BVS in the trash because of Mr. Piccolo. Piccolo does not like the movie. And then this is Twitter, aka the Snyder Cult. Superman! Here's some more Superman drawing. Here's Superman, Crypto, a squid from Splatoon, Sean the Inkling Boy. Here's the jellyfish from Splatoon to dress up as FNAF from Balloon Boy from FNAF 2. Here's this little funny fan art reference from episode of SpongeBob SquarePants. I call this one Bold and Bran. More like belongs in the trash. Ha ha ha. Sorry, I missed that one. I know. Hilarious reference. Peter Griffin. Here's the minion dressed up as Mickey Mouse. Gru! Here's me. I was working out the gym. Here's another one. I was working out the gym. Fantastic Four! Let's go! Here's Mr. Reed Richards, Miss Susan Storm, Johnny Storm, the Human Torch, the Thing. It's clobbering time! July of 2025. What should I see? Marvel's Fantastic Four or Superman 2025. And here's me says, holy crap, two cakes! Who's excited for both? Here's Superman and Mr. Fantastic shaking hands for July of this year because it's to be special for comic book fans. Here's more crossovers of Superman and Fantastic Four, like the Thing holding Crypto, and more and Mr. Fantastic. It's supporting Superman, supporting each other's movies this year. Here is more doodles of Robert. Here is Robert meeting his high school nemesis during his teen years, during when young Robert goes to high school. Kind of like Gru meets Maxime Lamal during Despicable Me 4. Here's more doodles of Robert. Here's my own version of Maxime Lamal. Here's another one that's my own version of Maxime Lamal. Here is both young Robert and forgot his name. I forgot to make my own version of Maxime Lamal. They went to high school together as supervillains. Here's more doodles of the high school supervillain. Here's my own version of Maxime Lamal fall in love with this furry character. Supposed to be Valentina, but this is a hellhound from Hell of a Boss. Here's more. Aw, they love each other. More doodles. More random doodles. Here is my own principal. Here's my own supervillain high school principal. Here's the principal of this school. Reminds me of Chauncey from Matilda. Here's their adult form. And that's it for sketchbook number 16. Alright, sketchbook number 17. Here we go. Here's some random doodles of me, my avatar form. It's time to draw. Here's me, a little beardish of me. Got a little mustache and beard. Ooh, look at this one. I kind of like this one. Here is me, Inkling Sean, and Tractor. That's me holding my sketch pad. That's Inkling Sean and Tractor. Two of my favorite OCs I created. More doodles of Inkling Sean in this drawing pad. Here is Inkling Sean holding the splatter shot. Him holding the splat bomb and the Trizuka. Nice. And booyah! And what else we got? Shoot. Aw, look at this. This is my best friend, Rusty. Rusty the Small Fry. Is that right, Rusty? Love him. More Rusty doodles. I frickin' love him. I frickin' love him. More Rusty. More jellyfish from this game Splatoon. I'm a really spectacular at drawings I made. Nice. Superman! Yes! Superman doodles. Let's go. I freaking love Superman. Here's Superman on the cloud. Him trying to stop Lex Luthor while he's beaten. Here's me being horrified at the situation. Crypto! I freaking love Crypto. Aw, Superman and Crypto. Him holding the rock. There's Lois Lane being impressed because Superman is saving the city. Clark Kent. More Clark Kent and with Lois. Lois Lane. I freaking love Lois. Superman. Here's Superman waving while he's flying in the air. Here is some doodles of me. Tractor! More doodles of Tractor. Yes! Tractor on the skateboard. Farrah the Fox and Tractor are fist bump at each other. More doodles of Tractor, Farrah, and Gabe. What else? Oh, here's a doodle of Tractor with Gabe the Gator at this World's National Food Festival while Gabe is trying out every single food from around the world. Here's more Gabe the Gator is eating every single food in this World's National Food. And later, 5 hours later, Gabe is feeling all full of food in his belly while Tractor and Gabe are going home from the National Food Festival. Here is Fierce Farrah the Fox and is feeling annoyed of Gabe feeling all full of food from that food festival. And that's it for sketchbook number 17. Let's go! Alright, sketchbook number 18. This is my sketch pad. Here we go. Here's me holding a pen full of my drawings of my favorite OCs I created. Another avatar of me. More doodles of me. Another one. Aw, here's a little doodle of me celebrating Happy Valentine's Day this year. Feathers McGraw! Nice, more Feathers McGraw. I love Feathers. It's Wallace! You did it, lad! I will never stop drawing. Yes, that's right. That's how I describe this drawing. I will never stop drawing throughout my life. Superman! Here's a drawing of Superman looking up based off the teaser poster from the new upcoming movie this year. that Superman is stopping Feathers McGraw because of he is acting like an evil penguin, and Superman to save the day. Here Superman is wave at people, says he's off to his own mission. Here's more doodles of Superman. This is based off the David Cornsweet one from the new upcoming movie. Here Superman is super fist bump at me because I'm very excited to meet Superman one day. More random doodles. Tractor! I freaking love Tractor. More doodles of Tractor. Aw, he's wearing a scarf during the snow season. More doodles of Tractor. Aw, Tractor is doing the iconic. That's all, folks. Freaking love him. More doodles of Tractor. Oh my god! That's me. Here's the drawing of me gets excited for I finally got my Feathers McGraw plush toy because I have him right now. I am so happy. He looks so adorable. Finally got him on my Amazon. How cute. Ooh, more drawings of young Robert. Sweet. Oh, fudge. Oh my god. Here's more drawings of Robert. Him holding the cheese ray. Him storing the blue diamond. Oh my god! Stryker! Oh my god, my first Hell of a Boss fan art. It's freaking Stryker from Hell of a Boss. Let's go! Here's another drawing of Stryker from Hell of a Boss. Oh my god, is that Among Us? Oh no, not another one. Nope. Skip. Oh, Batman meets Batman. This is weird. Here's Kid Robert and Adult Robert. Here's this little doodle of from the Looney Tunes cartoon, The Great Piggy Bank. Forgot this dude's name with his flat head with all the airplanes. Neon Noodle from the Looney Tunes cartoon. A bullet. What kind of bullet? Well, it's in Gromit. More Gromit. Freaking love Gromit. Feathers! More Feathers McGraw. I freaking love this villain penguin. And that is it for sketchbook number 18. Let's go. Alright, we got sketchbook number 19. Here we go. Here's some random doodles of me. Sean's sketchbook. Here's some more doodles of me. I am the most spectacular cartoonist in America. Here's my Aunt Colleen's Kylie the cat. More drawings of Kylie the cat. Tractor and Kylie are high five. Aww, she's dreaming about it. Well, we got me freaking more drawings of Tractor doing the iconic imagination. How awesome. Family Guy doodles. Here's Peter Griffin. Here's Brian. And here's Lois screaming, Peter! Oh my god, hilarious. Quagmire as Angel Death from Hazbin Hotel. Oh my god, how do I get this random Asian character from Family Guy off my sketchbook? Here's me in Family Guy style. Here's Peter Griffin is doing the iconic, holy crap, Sean PVS 101. Hi, Peter. More drawings of Splatoon. More drawings of Inkling Sean. Rusty. Some doodles. I love all my Splatoon drawings. Gonna skip. Ooh, here's a good one. I love this one. Here is a drawing of Octo Expansion, my first Octo Expansion fan art. I love that one. And here is Side Order. I really love this fan art. This is pretty awesome. Oh god! Oh no, not Among Us! We gotta skip that. Here we go. Here's Captain Underpants. Tra-la-la! Oh my goodness. Here's a drawing of the Captain Underpants meme when Mr. Crump yelling, Brats! And here's Gerald and George from the movie. More doodles of me. Mr. Lightbulb. I like him. More Mr. Lightbulb doodles. I like him so much. Mario. I love Mario. Wahoo! I love Mario. Aw, how cute. Oh, look at this one. I love this one. It's the Mario Bros doing the iconic Barbie mugshot. This is my favorite one by far. Kirby! Let's go! I freaking love Kirby. Here's more Kirby doodles. I freaking love Kirby. Poyo! Oh my goodness. This is funny. It's Striker from Hell of a Boss is feeling horrified of Kirby holding a crucifix and Holy Bible, and Striker is a demon from Hell of a Boss, and he is trigger at it. Hilarious. And Striker from Hell of a Boss is horrified at Kirby holding a crucifix. Hilarious. And that's it for sketchbook number 19. Woo! Woo! Alright guys, we got 2 more left in this video. We got sketchbook number 20. Let's make it quick. Alright, here's more random doodles of my usual avatar of me. Tractor! Oh, I freaking love Tractor. Oh my goodness, look at this. Here's some Kirby doodles of Kirby. Here's Kirby's face as Gru, and oh my god. Do you like Poe? Oh, it's Barry from B-Movie. Oh my god. Kirby, more Kirby doodles. Get rid of the Among Us. Kirby holding the pizza. Kirby and Waddle Dee. How adorable. Oh my god, Kirby with the long legs. Oh my god. Aw, Inkling Sean is high five with Kirby. More doodles of Inkling Sean. Hey Lois, Poyo. More Kirby doodles on my sketchbook. I freaking love Kirby. Superman! Oh, I love this one. I love drawing Kirby meets Superman. That is a pretty cute, wholesome crossover. Here, Superman and Kirby are flying, and he says, "I'm proud of you, kid." And more Kirby and Superman doodles. How awesome is that? More random drawings of young Robert. Here's his kid form and adult form. More Robert in his super suit from Despicable Me 3. Here's some doodles of that. More of this. What else? Here's little Ren. Here's my more drawings of Ren. Here is Robert and Ren are in this background from the Sonic the Hedgehog 3 when Gerald and Eggman are dancing from that rap song. Oh no! Nope. Nope. No more Among Us. I freaking hate Among Us. No way. Much better. Here's Superman. More Superman drawings. Let's freaking go. He has Superman holding a rock and doing the iconic whoosh. And that's it, sketchbook number 20. Let's go. Right, my fellow superheroes and supervillains. Final one I'm going to show you in this video. This is my sketchbook number 21. Man, this is a long video to make. Here we go. Here's my same old doodles of my avatar character of me. Here's some more of that. More drawings of Tractor. I freaking love Tractor. Love Tractor. Aww, he's supportive of me. Oh, I like this one. That is pretty awesome. Farrah the Fox. Gabe the Gator. Oh, I love them so much. I love them. Here is them having a great time eating ice cream. More of this. Hanging out in the park. Here's Tractor, Farrah, and Gabe are going on this cool venture, finding some treasure in this, area. Because I love them. Tractor! I freaking love Tractor. Inkling Squid. Jimmy Neutron! My first fan art on Jimmy Neutron. Him riding on Goddard from the show. I freaking love Jimmy Neutron. More Kylie the cat from my aunt's house. Roz! I freaking love Roz from Wild Robot. Fink the Fox! Let's go! Wilbert! Aw, that's me holding Fink the Fox from Wild Robot because I'm a sucker for Fox. Here's Jimmy Neutron and Eustace Stretch. Oh, this one's awesome. I freaking love this. This is Jimmy Neutron and Eustace Stretch are having a lightsaber fight, and here's Butler Bliss is playing the Duels of Fate from Star Wars. And here's Jimmy Neutron doing the iconic, "It's over! Anakin, I got the high ground! You won the night by my power." And then Sheen says, "Oh my gosh, he said the line from Star Wars." And Carl says, "Quiet, Sheen! You ruined this serious moment, Sheen!" Freaking hilarious. Ooh, more doodles of Eustace Stretch. I love that character from that episode. Oh my goodness! It's the tripod ship from Jimmy Neutron from that episode of King Mars. Let's go. Here's Eustace Stretch's tripod. More of his tripod ship. More of this. I just love Eustace Stretch's ship from Jimmy Neutron. It's pretty awesome. Here's me holding this cup. I was at a bar. Yes! Meet the Robinsons! I love that movie. Here is Lois and Wilbert. Lois. Here's some more doodles of Lois. Doris. I love Doris. More Doris. Poor Goob. Here's my St. Patrick's Day doodle. Gabe, Farrah, and Tractor. Look at this. Here's a drawing of Tractor and Gabe and Farrah getting excited for Thanksgiving. Couple hours later, they were all full and drunk from Thanksgiving meal. St. Patrick's Day meal. They're full from St. Patrick's Day meal. My mistake. And that is it for sketchbook number 21. Woo! Well, that is it for my video for this two-part duology video for showing every drawing on my sketchbook. I hope you really enjoyed this two-part duology for my sketchbook tour video because I really love all my sketchbooks because my favorite thing to draw all the time outside of the internet is doing some drawings on my sketchbook because I always be a great cartoonist all the time. So yeah, I can't wait to draw more stuff on my sketchbook, like using sketchbook number 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, etc. because my sketchbooks will get better every time. So yeah, subscribe to my channel, comment down below what you think of this two-part video, and what you think of this video. Did you like it or hate it? Comment down below. See you next video, and get totally